Up next, Kansas and Colorado. Colorado going to Arrowhead. So a classic Big 12 game being played at Missouri for some reason. The way that Coach Deion Sanders described it was the guys just got too full of themselves. They enjoyed their success. They started listening to the praisers, and I mean that's what it looked like to me. That they just couldn't put one foot in front of the other.
Devin Neal had a big day, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, Brandon, and boy, Kansas Arrowhead Stadium, that has all of a sudden turned into a major home field advantage for the Kansas Jayhawks. It has been a graveyard for team seasons overall. Colorado, they were definitely not ready to play, and Kansas was. It was eerily similar to the Iowa State-Kansas game from a couple of weeks ago, Brandon, where just things just weren't clicking as much for Iowa State. It was similar for Colorado as well. And pretty much once that grave was dug, they had no choice but to lay in it.
All right, I think you're right. Tough spot for Colorado. But, I mean, as we mentioned, to start the program, Kansas is playing really good. Like, Kansas, this is the team that folks are putting in the Big 12 championship is exactly what we're seeing here. Like, if you didn't know the record, you look at that team, you'd be like, oh, that team's definitely, top 4 in the league. Like, if you watch that game, you're like, oh, there's 4 teams with an opportunity to go to the Big 12 championship. Kansas is absolutely one of them. Certainly not, oh, well, Kansas needs to win one more game to Thanksgiving weekend to get to a bowl game.
Yeah, I think so too, Brandon. It's fascinating to see how that all just breaks down for Kansas. I think it shows what could have been for their season as well. If they get off to just a better start, I mean, it's tough. I mean, that's kind of, they're happy they're finishing strong. Like, it's always better to finish strong than to start strong, fall off. But that said, it shows the talent this team had. That's why Kansas, we liked them top 5 in the preseason. And they're finishing, at a rate that they're happy about. But that's definitely something I think in the offseason they're going to want to address as well, that, hey, this team's program has talent. We need to go capitalize on it.
And oddly enough, I did not have Kansas very high in my Big 12 rankings, but it was solely because I didn't think Jalen Daniels was going to get healthy. If you were to tell me, like, hey, I'm from the future, I promise Jalen Daniels is going to stay healthy throughout the season, I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, then, yeah, they're absolutely a Big 12 contender then. But that's what happened, and they're 5-6. What a world.
They're 5-6, but hey, one more win, Brandon. I think they got a very winnable game upcoming, I believe, against, is it Baylor? I think they're playing next week. They definitely can be bowl eligible, and I'd actually be a little surprised if they weren't bowl eligible, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. Me too, for sure. I mean, either this Kansas team doesn't make a bowl game, or Baylor goes, they win 8 games. Right. That also feels silly.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a fascinating game because if Baylor gets 8 wins, I mean, that's a significant effort for their program. So give them credit there. I think we'll quickly flip this to Colorado. What a tough loss. Colorado, everybody, I think, was kind of starting to hype up college football playoff dreams. Fun to have Deion in there. We just had that conversation last week on this podcast. And now that they still can't make it, they need a little bit of help now. But tough loss for Colorado, because they definitely were building great energy potentially going into the conference championship game.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll just add, I don't think it. If I'm on the flippity flop, I feel like this is kind of the perfect situation for Colorado, because you do lose this game. It gets you focused up for the last game against Oklahoma State, focused up against, hopefully for them, a team in the Big 12 title game. But, realistically, I don't think it messes with their playoff odds too much, because, they weren't in the spot for an at-large bid. Their path was always win the Big 12 championship. I guess a 9-3 Big 12 champion.
Yep.
I don't know.
That could be happening, Brandon. Yeah. Nothing's impossible. It's not impossible.
No,
I could
certainly
see it
on the table. certainly
It's on the table. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, because all that needs to happen is that Colorado needs to win. And I think Iowa State needs to lose. I think that's what it was.
Yep, I think that's what it was. Yes.
Yeah. But okay. Be interesting to see how that plays out.